program is sponsored by Curie Learning and Madame Curie Science and Technology.
Welcome to NRI Voice on PILUPU TV. This is your host Gopinath. Today we have in our studio Professor Dr. Rao Mulpuri Garu, who is an educator for the past 38 years. He received his PhD degree in electrical and computer engineering in Oregon State University in 1985 and his MTech from IIT Bombay and BTech from JNTU College of Engineering, Kakinada. He has been a faculty member in the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering at George Mason University from 1984 and as a professor since 1993. So far he has supervised 20 completed doctoral theses and currently supervising 3 more. He published more than 150 book chapters and articles in many international journals. He wrote books for teaching math for kindergartners in 1990s and also founded Curie Learning, which focuses on K-12 advanced learning, and also founded Madame Curie preschools. As you see, he is one of the few people in the world who have comprehensive knowledge in the field of education from pre-K to PhD level. We are happy to interview Professor Rao Garu today on education. We will be presenting this interview in segments based on which grade levels the discussion is going on. Welcome back. In the past episode, Mr. Rao Garu gave us plenty of information about preschool education related to the kids and the parents also. So in this episode, we will be talking about elementary education for these kids. Welcome back, Rao Garu.
Certainly, it's a pleasure to be back.
Thank you very much for gracing our studios. So we have plenty of questions about elementary school education this week.
No problem.
So yeah, I'm going to go one by one. So some of the parents have a dilemma about private school versus public school for their children, elementary school education.
Mm-hmm.
What is your opinion about it?
Depends upon jurisdictions. Okay, there are some states, okay, in the southern part of the United States and some other parts also, where the public education is in very bad shape. Basically, the quality of the schools is not up to the mark to any standards. Basically, in a situation like that, if you can afford it, then obviously I certainly suggest private education. But in the areas where they have a reasonably good public education, then they don't have to send their child to private school. I have a problem with the private schools actually. That is, it creates elitism, basically. So you are putting the kid in the company of other kids from reasonably rich families, because only rich people can afford private quality education. So that can lead to problems later. Let us say if you move them later after elementary school into a public school later in middle school years or high school years, it becomes a problem for them to get adjusted to Janta education. That is the public education system. So it varies from case to case. But overall, in my opinion, if the jurisdiction has reasonably good public schools, I strongly support sending the kid to the public schools and then supplement the learning with by sending the kid to supplementary learning centers outside the public education system.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So, is it enough to send the child to public school, or is there a need to supplement their education with enrichment programs? You have seen, there are plenty of enrichment programs.
Correct. There is a lot. It is a maze also right now. Lot of parents have trouble in figuring out where should I send my child.
Right.
Okay? That is also a big dilemma for a lot of parents. It is important because public education is not able to give optimum knowledge to every child, and the children who are capable of taking more are underserved in the public education system. So I strongly recommend that they send their child for advanced learning outside, and it doesn't take too much time also. So just like a couple of hours a week is good enough. If they put the kid in a program, that is going to give them not only just advanced academic learning, but which is going to challenge them, basically. Okay, the challenge that they don't get in the public education system. So they need to choose a program which is not just merely focused on giving advanced math and advanced language, but give some challenge. Okay, so challenge them in a practical situation. Okay, come up with a solution to this practical problem. Okay, that can be related to math problem, or it can be related to English writing, basically. Okay, write this particular paragraph about this practical situation. How are you going to address this situation? So putting the kid in a advanced learning program outside the public education system is certainly an important thing for the academic progress of the child. Okay, but at the same time, what kind of program do you choose? That is a big problem, as we just discussed. One of the things is, throughout this country, there is a system, I don't want to say the brand name, it is a repetitive kind of learning. Nobody teaches anything in that program, but they give homework related to every day. The kid has to go through repetitive, doing the multiplication again and again, again and again. Where is the creativity there? There is no creation. Okay? The creativity ability of the kid is compromised when you put your child in a learning center which does not teach anything like a classroom kind of teaching, and no child gets a chance to raise their hand and ask a creative question to the teacher. The sheets are given, day in, day out you are doing the same thing, and then the kid gets bored. One boring academic nature is one problem with that. And another thing is, if the kid gets used to this repetitive kind of learning, then whereas in school, the topics keep changing all the time. Okay? So unless they go through this repetitive thing, they may not feel comfortable going to the next level topic. So we do not want the child to get used to this repetitive learning. There are other programs which are focused towards a technique-based learning, in the math especially. Then they say that our program is geared towards abacus. Okay, we make the kid use abacus, or Singapore math, or Russian math techniques. I am against technique-based learning. I am always for conceptual-based learning. Because later in middle schools, high schools, colleges, it is not the techniques, nobody teaches them the techniques. It is the concepts. And the kids who have thorough concepts, they can deal with any kind of problem. If they get used to abacus, for example, but in the school, do they use abacus? No. They don't use abacus. If they get used to using abacus, but in the school, they are not allowed to use abacus, then the kid is confused. They get lost again. Okay? So that's why I'm against technique-based learning. I'm always for conceptual-based learning. Look at the program which is giving the best conceptual learning. I mean, they teach the concept, then they give exercises related to day-to-day life situations where they have to use this concept to find the solution to that problem. Okay? And there are other kind of programs also. They advertise $89 per month, $129 a month, and you get 4 subjects. If any program that advertises the price as the reason for any kid to come to their program, in my opinion, is not a good program to put your child in. And also 4 subjects in 1 hour. The kid hardly gets 15 minutes on any subject. Where is the focus? What are the most important subjects for any child? It is the language, like English and then math. That is the reason why in all diagnostic tests like the GMAT or the GRE or Scholastic Aptitude Test and Magnet High School admission test, the kids are tested only on English and math, because those two are the core areas. Because competency in language arts leads to competency in social studies, and competency in math leads to competency in all sciences as well. So, in my opinion, focusing on these two subject areas like English and then math in the advanced learning outside, that is more important than anybody who promises you 4 subjects not doing a good job in anything. That is not a proper program to put your child in.
Thank you. That's plenty of information.
Yeah.
As you said, there are plenty of enrichment programs outside, and as parents, we are so.
There's a lot of parents are confused about it.
Right.
So they need to seek an advice.
Right.
Any center, any learning center that admits every child without testing the child is a bad program. Okay? And any center which gives a diagnostic test and then sometimes do not shy of not admitting the child into the level that you are asking for because of inadequate prior preparation of the child. Okay? They need to learn to accept the truth. I'm talking about the parents. If the program is bending the requirements in order to admit everybody so that they can make more revenue, that is the bad program. Okay? If the program says this is our recommendation, but if you don't listen to this recommendation, we are not going to admit your child, because we know in our heart that by giving your kid this level program rather than the lower level program, the kid is not going to get better. A program which doesn't shy about rejecting a child because the parent is not listening to the recommendation is the best program for you. Okay? So those who want to accommodate no matter what to collect your tuition fee, that is a bad program.
Thank you. So before we go to the next question, we'll take a small break.
Madam Curie School of Science and Technology and Curie Learning After School, founded by Dr. Rao Mulpuri, a passionate teacher and dedicated mentor. Madam Curie School of Science and Technology is exemplary for early childhood education, focusing on STEM and arts. A fun, safe, and caring place. A warm environment for kids to discover, explore, learn, and grow. Built to develop the social and cognitive skills of every child. Curie Learning After School is a premier after-school institute for academic excellence from kindergarten to high school, enrichment and advancement programs in English, math, and sciences, skilled coaching for Thomas Jefferson, Academy of Science, Academy of Engineering and Technology, SAT and ACT, contributing more than 10% of freshmen to Thomas Jefferson every year. Curie Learning, the one-stop shop for all your kids' academic needs.
Welcome back. We have Dr. Rao Garu here addressing some questions about elementary school education. So, welcome back, Rao Garu.
It's a pleasure.
And yeah, we have one interesting question right here. So, what's your take on gifted and talented or advanced academic placement programs? Are they really necessary for those kids at that level?
Depends. Let us say if in a particular jurisdiction, they take the kids into AAP or GT program in the 4th grade. If you think that by the time your kid completes grade 3 education, if your kid is already able to handle regular grade 4 or grade 5, part of grade 5 material by that time, means your kid is ready to be able to handle the GT program or advanced academic placement program. Means your kid is already showing the signs. Holding the kid back. Some parents think that, oh, why should I stress my kid by putting in the GT program and or AAP program? They are doing a great disservice to the child. If the kid is capable of handling and the kid has consistently shown over the years advanced aptitude for learning and ability to handle advanced academic material, then they should put the child for sure in the GT program or advanced academic placement program. However, if the kid is not consistently showing that level of confidence, that level of ability, for example, here and there only the kid is showing that ability, but there is no consistency in the capability. Then in that case, it's not a good idea to unnecessarily put the kid in the GT program and then make the child among the bottom kids in the program. It's a good idea to be among the best students in any program than to be the last tier, bottommost tier of the students in a GT program. So because that will affect the kids' self-confidence. Okay? So in other words, some parents from the birth itself, I want my kid to be in the GT. Then do the appropriate things when the kid is young, means early elementary school years, early first grade, second grade, third grade years, to give that ability to your child by putting in appropriate programs and also taking the kid out a lot to science fairs and all those things to stimulate interest in them for advanced learning. You need to do those things from early on if you really want your kid to be in the GT programs or AAP kind of programs. You cannot be silent up to that point and then expect to push your child only in the third grade because it's like this. You can give, the knowledge is like eating food. You can give the large amount of food to the kid in a small period of the time and expect the kid to digest that food. Knowledge is no different. You cannot make the kid to learn a lot of material and assimilate that material for the long-term retention of the knowledge. That's not possible. So, depending upon the prior preparation of the kid and the capabilities of the kid, the answer depends basically.
Yeah, that's a great answer.
Yeah.
So, here is the next question. So, is it necessary to put the child in STEM-based competitions at the elementary level?
For sure.
Okay.
Because today the world is STEM world. Okay? I mean, I'm an engineer.
Right.
Okay, but still, during my engineering education or early time of my career, in early 1980s, I never thought that in my lifetime, I will be able to talk to somebody by paying pennies, seeing their picture and the other side being able to see my picture.
Right.
And in 1980s, early 1980s, I was paying $2.50 for the first minute on the phone call, and for the next minute onwards, $1.29 or something.
Right.
Okay? Who expected that the technology will reach to this level without paying a penny also? You can talk to somebody who is thousands of miles away.
Right.
And we are expecting that the cars will be automated very soon.
Right.
And some of the household chores will be done by robots. And maybe the fast food restaurants, some of the workers are robots.
Right.
So, in a technological wide world, we can't hold the kid back. Expose the STEM as early as possible. Otherwise, the kid will be lagging behind with the way not in tune with the way the technology is progressing in the world. This is one of the dilemma, actually. As an educator myself, I feel that education system is not responding properly. That may be elementary education system, middle school, high school, even college level. The education system is not responding as quickly as the technology is advancing.
Right.
So my recommendation to the parents is involve your kid in STEM-based activities outside the classroom. Some schools operate outside the classroom hours or outside organizations which are offering these STEM activities.
Okay. So, there has been a confusion with some of these parents too, whether to join them early ages. As you said, if the kid can take it, and in this advanced world, they have to be in advance.
You will be surprised. It is the parents who doubt the capability of the children. But I have seen in our program lot of kids mastering the Java language by the time they are 7th graders.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
And some of them can program Java, Python, and even C++ very well even in 7th grade.
Wow.
So if the parent of the child thought that, oh, my kid cannot handle this, he or she is only a 12-year-old, 13-year-old, this will not happen. So your kids, in my opinion, are much more capable than what you think they are.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
We'll take a quick break.
Introducing Ahoy Carpool. Whether you're in the riding mood or driving mood, Ahoy Carpool enables you to do both. Book your carpool ride in advance. Download now and experience Ahoy Carpool today.
Welcome back. We have Dr. Rao Garu here. So, what is the role of sports and how many sports should a child choose?
This is a good question. This is another question where a lot of parents are confused about. I strongly believe that the kids should be in the sports because it's a good exercise in the modern world especially.
Right.
Because I am from a village. So we don't need to play, naturally the kids were playing sports all the time in the street and in the playgrounds in the school because spacious playgrounds.
Right.
But today it's different. A lot of kids are attending urban schools
Right.
where they don't have any time to play in the playgrounds in the school, or they come home. Most of the time they are watching TV. There isn't any physical activity happening within the home also. So it is a good idea to put the kid in sports for sure, where they get good physical exercise. And I believe in seasonal sports. Okay, like put the kid in soccer during fall and basketball during winter, or baseball during the spring season or summer or something like that. Or if the kid likes specific, some people like not only fall soccer, they like spring soccer also, no problem.
Right.
Okay, so some kind of physical thing has to happen. But the problem comes, there are parents, they put their kid in swimming, karate, and then another sports also. Okay, seasonal sport. Look at the three things that are happening parallel. So it is extremely difficult to do everything. Means to make your kid into a well-rounded kid, but here a lot of time is going for the sports.
Right.
And I'm not against sports, but excessive kind of sports is going to compromise on some other things that the kid should learn in the elementary school years, basically. And one of the big things I have is the karate, for example. You can take your kid more frequently to karate and they charge $100 less money. So a lot of parents are attracted towards karate because I get more hours for less money. Okay? But but look at what most of the karate centers do. Every 2 months or 3 months, they conduct a test to give you a belt.
Right.
There is a belt fee for that.
Right.
And whether in some of the programs, I don't say that all karate centers do that. In many programs, whether the kid is really doing a good job or not, they keep passing the kid. So the kid thinks that it's easy to achieve things, basically. So it is counterproductive.
Right.
The kid has to learn that they have to work hard on something to gain something.
Right.
Okay? So some of these karate centers are teaching bad things.
Right.
And another thing, who teaches your kid in most of the time in the karate centers? Other kids who are 3 or 4 years older than your kid is taught most of the time, and the real teacher comes for 5 minutes and do some blah blah, some exercise, and they say that I'm teaching you something moral and all those things.
Right.
So, in my opinion, karate is an oversold physical activity, but there are so many other things.
Okay.
Swimming is very good actually,
Right.
okay? Because it's a good physical exercise for the entire body also.
Right.
So you need to learn the sports properly, looking into the physical ability of the child.
Right. Right.
And is the child able to take that sports? Because you can put a weak child into American football, okay? The child may be interested, but you don't want to put the child because it's a contact sport, and it's a very good possibility that the kid can get hurt very badly sometimes. So you need to weigh all options to decide which sports you want to choose and how many, basically. Excessive amount of things are not good, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So now, this is my question. So what about artistic talents, such as music, dance, painting?
I strongly support that because you'll be surprised to know in most of the kids who go to magnet schools or GT high schools, okay, most of those kids have excellent artistic talents as well. The best music programs are in the magnet schools, okay, and in other words, the artistic talent and the academic achievement sometimes go hand in hand, okay. One will not be a detriment for the other. I have seen, you'll be surprised, in New York Philharmonic Orchestra, Philadelphia Philharmonic Orchestra, and Los Angeles Philharmonic Orchestra, a big percentage of the performers are the people who attended Ivy League schools or who happen to be doctors, engineers, lawyers, and that kind of high academic accomplished people. Career-wise also, they are highly accomplished. So, I believe that both go hand in hand, but where the problem comes is excess again here. Some parents, they put the kid in dance, in the music, and also learning their mother tongue language, Telugu or Tamil or Sanskrit or something. This is excess again, okay? What is the best way? Then the question is, how do I know whether my kid has a talent in dance or music? When the kid is very young, like 2 or 3, in the second grade or third grade, try, okay, all 3 of them for few months, okay? Then figure out where the kid is showing the most talent and most interest. Then narrow it down to that interest area so that the kid will excel in it and go to a much higher level in that particular artistic activity.
Right. Yeah, that gives right answer. So they have to try.
They have to try. And then find in which one they have the most talent and most interest, then stick to that one. And another problem, again, parents try to live their dreams through their children. That's very common, okay? A parent wanted to be a great musician, but it did not happen because of lack of encouragement from their parents or financial problems or whatever. They want to accomplish it through their child, even though child is not really interested in music. So these are the problems. Parents have to watch out for these inappropriate activities for their child, basically.
Thank you. That gives a clear answer to my question.
Okay.
And yeah, this is interesting too. What about religious and social service components in the early elementary school days?
Okay.
And how important it is for them?
Okay. Anything in good dose is always good. Okay. A religious program where they are teaching religious fervor is not a good program to put your child in. Okay. There are some people who run these religious weekly programs where the teaching either knowingly or unknowingly says that our beliefs are the best and other beliefs are not good. Okay? So you are creating in the narrow mind in your child by putting your child in a program where they are teaching narrow mindedness rather than universal, okay, acceptance. So on the other hand, there are programs, these are run in the temples or by individuals who teach what is good in your religion or in your belief system, and at the same time they bring other good things in the other belief systems as well, as a supplement basically. So in my opinion, any program that is not teaching the narrow-mindedness but teaches the universal the part of the religion, because all religions have some commonalities. So those who focus on those commonalities rather than the narrow ideology that you have. Within your same religion, there are a lot of religions, they have 7, 8 different sub-religions in them. And there are some parents who want to teach that this path is the best in the way. Okay, that is wrong in my opinion. Okay, teach the universal good things. Okay, and next thing. But certainly, if there is a program that teaches those things, take your kid there. Do you remember? Some kids listen to the third person better than the parents. Absolutely. You want to teach the same to your child actually, but the kid is not listening to you because you are a parent. So parents are taken for granted by the children. But if a third party is giving the same knowledge, they tend to listen. Then, bringing the social responsibility. Teaching to the child, okay, the social responsibility, not only civic social responsibility, but empathy towards the weak and the needy is very, very important. Let us say there are a lot of kids who are raised by two-income families. So I mean the kids are born and raised in wealth basically. Anything they ask, they get it. But they need to know that there are a lot of people outside their home who do not get everything they want. They have to really work hard even to get basic necessities. So we want to teach them the empathy towards the children, and also rather than celebrating every little thing that happened in the kid's life with a huge party, then you need to tell the kid, hey, I can give you this party if you want to, but this is usually what we spend for your birthday or your this occasion. Why don't you take this money, we'll give it to you. Do you want to give it for some good cause? To sponsor an orphan somewhere else who will get every day some meal, okay? 2 meals a day. Do you want to give this donation to help an orphan or a very poor person? By doing that, you are teaching the empathy towards the society. And any human being who has no empathy towards common people is not going to be a good human being later in life. So you need to teach it early on rather than facing a horrible situation later in a high school or a college where the kid is so arrogant with a student from a different background and a disciplinary action has to be taken for being arrogant. If you want to avoid that kind of situation, teach empathy and also giving kind of attitude to the weak and needy early on to make this human being into a well-rounded human being early on.
Yes, nice. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Yes, social service component is very important. I'm totally with you. So the religious, as you said, it has to be universal. It should not be a judgmental kind of a thing.
Correct.
Wow, thank you very much. And before we go into next questions, let's take a quick break.
Sure.
Welcome back, PILUPU TV viewers. This is Gopinath. We have Dr. Rao Mulpuri Garu in our studios, giving us plenty of answers about, related to elementary school education. Thank you, sir. So,
You're welcome.
So let's go into an interesting question. Now, as you know, many families these days are nuclear in size. Do you think grandparents should play a role in child's life?
For sure. Because as an educator who has dealt with thousands of students all the way from pre-K to PhD level, the involvement of the grandparents is needed much more today than ever before. Because in the past, in the macro families, basically, the counseling is not naturally happening. If there is a conflict between a parent and a child, for example, grandparents, aunts, uncles come in between and pacify the situation. So there isn't a damaging gulf formed between these two entities. The parents are one entity and the children are another entity. So the grandparents are those counselors, okay, who are playing the mediator role. So because that grandparent role is disappearing in the nuclear families now we need the help of outside counseling. Psychiatrists and psychologists, all this is required. When are we going to them? After the damage is already done. Okay? Means if you reach the level of going to a counselor, okay, it means the damage has already been done. And instead, if you bring the grandparents, because nowadays in US, the consulate is liberal in giving 10-year visas.
Right.
Okay, so they can come in summer or other months, 2-3 months in a year, so that they develop the bonding,
Right.
and then they can instill these moral skills and also being able to respect the parents. If the grandparents tell the kid that you can't behave like this with your parents and this is the proper way to do in a calm and quiet voice, then that is the same role that the council is playing, basically.
Right.
The $2,000 that you spend in bringing these two grandparents from India is worth a lot, much more than those $2,000 in reality. It works both ways. First of all, your parents are not going to get bored and think that they are missing their grandchildren, okay? And at the same time, your children are developing the link to the past generations.
Right.
So the family history, they are going to know about the family history of the previous generations, and then also what is right, what is wrong is taught by the grandparents. And again, grandparent here is a third party, remember.
Right.
Okay? Not straight parents. With the kids, some of them tend to have adversarial relationship.
Right.
So I strongly recommend that they bring their parents from wherever they are from, other countries, and give that 2, 3, 4 months per year exposure to their child, to their grandparents.
Right.
Or sometimes you can send the children also during summer to spend time not only with the grandparents, with the uncles, aunts, and the cousins in their native countries.
Right.
Yeah, it's a good thing to do.
Thank you very much. That's plenty of information, sir. So, thank you very much for coming to our studios, giving wealth of information about elementary education in United States to those parents and our PILUPU TV viewers whose kids are, going to the elementary schools. Thanks a lot, and we'll come up with more episodes related to higher educations and quite a lot with Dr. Rao Mulpuri Garu. So, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thanks a lot, sir. Please visit us at www.piluputv.com. Connect to us at on Facebook or YouTube. Thanks a lot.